Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Up Supercast Game Club. My name is Brandon, and I am your host. And joining me today, I have Ills. And I got Noah.
Au revoir.
And this week, for the episode of the Game Club, we played a little game called, you might have heard of it, or you may not have. It's called Eco. Or Ico, but don't call it Ico, because that's not what it's officially called.
Really? They actually pronounced it?
Well, it's Team Eco, and I've heard, I looked up footage also to make sure that that's what they said. And they say Team Eco when they talk about it. So, yes, it's Eco, it's not Ico.
So it goes against logic. Got it. Because it literally is an I.
It is an I, but you know how languages work. They don't always make a lot of sense.
Yeah, English is dumb.
Well, is it an English word? Also,
I don't know.
when you look up when you look up Eco on Google, does not first thing it pulls up is not this video game, by the way. But yeah, we played Eco. It was developed by Japan Studios and Team Eco, both of which we must shed a tear for now. Japan Studios still technically exists, but not in the same state it used to be.
All my friends are dead.
Yeah, pretty much. And it was published by Sony Computer Entertainment. So published by Sony. So of course it was released on a Sony console. It was released on the PlayStation 2 originally on December. Actually, it came out in North America first, surprisingly. September 24th, 2001 in North America. And then December 6th, 2001 Japan. And March 22nd, 2002 in Europe. So I'm surprised this game came out in North America right
So
first.
suck it, Europe.
Yeah, you guys had to wait. So yeah, Eco developed by Team Eco. So this was the first game that they made. Ilse, you picked this game for us to play. Why don't you tell everybody why you chose this game?
Well, I played Shadow Colossus and The Last Guardian, so I figured I'd play Eco, the first of the bunch.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And yeah.
All right.
I mean, and this game is, pardon the pun, iconic. So yeah.
True. It has a reputation, as all their games do. Some good, some bad. But yeah, so you mentioned Shadow of the Colossus and The Last Guardian. Those are the other two games that Team Eco made. I actually did double duty this week and played Eco and Shadow of the Colossus. Because I have it as one of my games to play for New Year's, so I figure, if I'm gonna play Eco, I might as well also play Shadow of the Colossus, and get more knowledge of Team Eco while I'm at it. And it was a cool thing to play these back to back. So yeah, Eco is an action adventure game, puzzle platformer adventure game, kind of.
Like a platformer puzzle, yeah.
Yeah. And you play as a horned kid, and his name is Eco, as the title of the game. And basically, this kid gets thrown in this castle, in this kind of a pod type thing. You see the beginning of the game, him being brought there by these guards, and being put in this it's this sort of pod, I guess, kind of like imprisonment.
More like a sarcophagus.
Yeah, because assumedly because he has horns, and that's why he's thrown in there. And he escapes. He breaks out of it, and then you're tasked with escaping the castle, of course. But along the way, you come across a young girl named Yorda, and she's locked up in a cage. You save her, and it's up to you to guide her and get her out as well. And yeah, I mean that's the basic premise of the game, is you trying to escape this castle. You as Eco and Orta, and you do so by leading Orta around, and also you can kind of command her or ask her to come to you. Not a lot of command, but she also has an AI where she walks around and does her own thing. And you have to solve puzzles, platforming, to get through the castle and make your way through it. But yeah, that's the main gameplay of Eco.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and you do have to protect her from the shadows when they try to come and get her.
Yeah. Well. So she is under attack. There are some, like you said, these shadow creatures that are trying to drag her into like these vortexes that they can like they crawl out of these vortexes and they try to grab her and drag her back down through them. And you have to protect her from those. And those things are also pretty much completely disinterested in you.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
They will hit you, but they only will do so if you're in the way, trying to protect.
Or if you're trying to save her, they'll stop you.
Yeah.
They'll attack you.
Yeah. So they are completely after her. And when you first come across her, she's kind of like covered in that kind of shadowy stuff. So there's something going on with this girl. She's not just your normal average girl. And there's something going on with you too, because you have horns. But
you're cursed, basically.
Yeah.
That's why they put you in the prison to sacrifice you.
Yeah.
Because anybody who has that curse, they sacrifice for whatever reason. You never explain these things.
You're right. And this game does there's a lot of mystery that's left up in the air because it does minimal storytelling. It has some voice acting in it, but it's all like an in-game kind of like made up language, right? With subtitles, but there's very very little cutscenes, very little explanation of exactly what's going on. But a good thing, because the game uses its atmosphere and gameplay to tell the story, as opposed to needing constant cutscenes.
Yeah.
And like I said, you have a few commands over Yorda, where you can call for her and she'll come towards you, because she kind of does her own thing and walks around if you're not. So you can get her attention. You also can hold R1 to like hold her hand and like guide her around. So if you're going from room to room,
which you'll be doing 90% of the time.
Yeah.
Because if you just wait for her to come to you when you call to her, she'll take her sweet ass time.
Especially
and also to move to another room, you usually have to grab her and take her with you.
Mm-hmm. Right. Because if you leave her in a room for too long by herself, she will get attacked by the shadow creatures.
Yeah, they'll spawn again. They'll have a vortex there to take her in.
Yeah.
And it doesn't take very long for them to suck her down the hole.
No, it doesn't.
So if you leave her for if you're like a room away, you have to run as fast as you can to get to her, which is, kind of annoying, but it's
I just took her wherever I went, literally.
There's only a couple of times where you have to leave her alone.
Yeah.
For an extended period of time. So, and usually the times where you have to, they made it so that they don't attack her. It's usually they'll only attack her in another room if you don't have to leave her behind,
If you're doing it wrong, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's hard to know, immediately when you're supposed to bring her and when you're not supposed to.
True. Correct.
You have to you have to know what's coming in order to know what to bring. So you have to explore a little bit and then know when to bring her around.
Right. Yeah, I had a couple of times where that happened, and I did have her end up getting sucked into the void before I could get there fast enough.
Mm-hmm.
And when she does, it sucks because you got to start from your last checkpoint or your last save point.
That's save, yeah.
Which
sometimes it's a checkpoint because every time you open the door, it's a
automatic checkpoint.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's true.
Because we didn't say this already, but she's connected to the castle in such a way that when you're doing these puzzles, you have to guide her to a door, and only she can open this door. She has this electric power that allows her to bring these doors to life.
Yeah. And at the beginning of the game, you see these people with this like sword that can do it, and they're even like, make sure you have the sword, or bring the sword, and they can use the sword to like open the door. But Eco himself can't, so you need Yorda to do it.
Mm-hmm.
She's the main reason for you to bring her along from area to area, because you're going to need her to open those doors.
I mean, you are trying to save her.
That too.
Not just because that.
But that's her like main like puzzle element is what I meant more.
Yeah.
Is that you need her to open those doors to progress. And
it's
that's
a clever
usually,
way they made it so like you can't leave her behind.
Yeah, that's usually the main thing to keep going, right? There's always a door that stops you, and you just have to kind of figure out how to get to that door through the platforming and moving stuff around, whether it's switches or platforms that you have or blocks and stuff that you have to move to like solve these puzzles.
Lots of climbing.
Yeah.
Lots and lots of climbing. Which I do want to mention that, this game, by the way, it with its climbing and stuff, with a lot of its different gameplay elements, including its graphical style, went on to really actually inspire like a lot of different video games.
Yeah, like Uncharted.
Yeah, like Uncharted is one.
Well, Tomb Raider kind of did that.
Yeah.
Tomb Raider kind of did that too, yes. But this game, I mean, has gone. I mean, Naughty Dog, creative director of Naughty Dog, went on to say that he was inspired for some of this, and The Last of Us, I guess too, with the two people like kind of bonding story, and then also the brothers, Tales of Two Sons, it was inspired, partially by that as well.
Yep.
So. Yeah, in graphical style, it's noted that Twilight Princess, Metal Gear Solid 3, Prince of Persia, Sands of Time, all of those games, the lead directors, Ichi, Kojima, they all said that, Eco influenced their choice of graphics for their style of game. I mean, you can really see it with some of those games too, right? Like
definitely with Twilight Princess. Definitely with Brothers.
Mm-hmm.
Like I played Brothers before playing this game.
Yeah,
and it definitely felt like I was playing Brothers for some of it.
For some of it, yeah, like solving puzzles and using two characters to do so. Definitely, you definitely see the inspiration. So it's cool to see. Go back, because I played all those other games that inspired this, but it's cool to like go back and play this now. So yeah, I mean, when I mentioned earlier when you can do save points, and these save points are represented by like couches, which I thought was very funny, by the way.
Yeah.
They're supposed to be stone benches, but yeah, they look like couches.
They look like couches. That's what I said. I mean, if they were just like a regular stone bench that you sit on, like without the like backing, it would like it would make more like it would just make more sense. It would look like a bench, but it's like there's just these like light up couches.
Yeah, I don't know. They're called stone benches. I don't know why.
Mm-hmm. But they literally look like couch. I mean, you even like sit back on it like it's a couch. But I thought it was funny. There's a lot of them though. They're very generous. I feel like with the save points at least. There was only a couple times where I died and I felt very frustrated where I had to redo some puzzle parts. But for the most part,
there were a couple of spots.
But for the most part, I felt pretty good with the save opportunities they give you.
Yeah.
The save music, by the way, very good. I like the save music a lot.
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, there's a lot of silence. So when any music comes on, you definitely notice it. Like anytime the enemies are around, you're like, oh shit, time to book it.
Yep, yeah. You hear the music from the enemies. There's like you say, there's not a lot of music in this game. There's a lot of just silence. And I think it's like just the cutscenes, and then like the fights and the save points where there's really any music at all. So it's like very, very atmospheric.
It contributes to the haunting atmosphere, these big open vistas that are a majority of the setting of the game.
Yeah. It's a weird castle that you're in. and you end up finding, and not, I guess this isn't too much of a spoiler, right? Because it's kind of early on. It's not like super far in. But while you're trying to escape the castle, you encounter the queen, right? And she basically, she says that Yorda is her daughter, and that she won't allow Yorda to leave, and she basically shuts the main gate in your face, and you have to go to try to figure out how to unlock the main gate. And she's the main villain of the game, as the queen of the castle. And it's really just her and the shadow creatures. They're the only other things in the castle. I thought it was weird that she was like, you're not taking my daughter, but also my daughter can stay with you. That's fine. At that point.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little strange that she didn't take her right then, but...
Yeah, exactly. She could have just took her back right there.
Right there, yeah. She just kind of left her, but I guess whatever. So yeah, you have to go through, basically unlock this giant gate. Which one of the things that I thought was a little odd, which during that part, you go to like one side of the tower to unlock the gate. You go to the other side, and I was honestly, it's like one of the only parts where I was like disappointed by the puzzle, because I was like, this is the same exact puzzle almost from one side to the other. Like, they didn't really change it. It was so weird. It was like, okay, this is the same. Like, I know exactly what to do because I just did this.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, when I got there, I was like, yeah, this is the same thing. But at least it kind of makes sense because it's supposed to be the same. Like,
it is.
Nobody's out there to fuck with you. That's just how the castle is made, so it kind of makes sense. But yeah, it is a bit of a disappointment.
Yeah,
but getting there was...
They could have changed it up a little bit by having like some parts like destroyed, so you had to find a different way to navigate around and stuff like that. But
sure, I mean, they could have done all that. I'm just saying, it's not necessarily.
It makes sense.
It makes sense that it's parallel.
That it would be built like that, yes.
And getting there was enough of a puzzle, I think, because the fucking water tower part was a little bit of a bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's weird because I don't know why I got a weird feeling like doing the puzzles in this game. It was more of because it wasn't clear. Well, once you got, it wasn't clear. It was never clear like you have to go to this area or this spot of the castle. It was mainly. It just felt like, okay, I just gotta find where I can climb, and that's it. Just keep following that road. Rather than trying to, like, knowing where to go and trying to figure out how to get there.
Well, do you think that was a bad thing or a good thing?
No, it wasn't a bad thing necessarily. It just felt like I wasn't aware of where or what I was supposed to do. Because after the doors closed, it wasn't really hinting that you had to open them. I thought I was just trying to find a different way out all the time, until like I actually did the sun puzzle in one of the corridor, whatever the area is called, and then I was like, okay, I lit up the door. Now I know that I have to find the other place to light up the door, and then go from there. But most of the time, you just like, I don't know how to get to the other place, and it wasn't really clear that I was getting there because I was going up, down, left, right, all over the place. I had now like no orientation of where I was going. You know what I mean? That kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, I guess my thing is that I think one of the strongest parts of this game is that it leads you to where you have to go without telling you, like where to go. It leads you by the world, the design of the world. So you kind of just figure it out as you're going along, and it feels so seamless that it feels like you're the one doing it. But obviously, there's a design ethos there. That's telling you where to go.
Yeah, that's definitely a good thing. But
and with minimal backtracking.
True. You only had to revisit some areas just to because.
Kind of like just.
But it was clever the way they did because they created shortcuts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was a good way. They pulled that off really well.
So that's how they lead you basically.
Yeah, for sure. I lost my train of thought now. I was gonna.
Yeah, I mean, when you get back to like an area you already visited and it unlocks a shortcut, you know that like. You're not like, okay, well, I'm back here. Am I lost? You're like, okay, well, I'm back here. Like, now I go to like the next area that branches off here, you know?
Yeah. But the only, like, I wouldn't say negative, but the side effect of being the way that was would come across like some areas where I didn't know in what direction to go to, and there were no like clear signs of where I should be climbing or where I should be heading to. Like, for example, the part where you had to like use the bombs to blow up a certain weak tower-like thing. But that was not clear at all. Like the bombs were there, so I was like, okay, I have to blow up something. But nothing was clear enough that I just kept throwing bombs everywhere to find out what place I had to blow them up.
Right, yeah.
So it was like, that was like just shooting darts at the board, trying to see what like sticks, kind of thing. Rather than, okay, I know I have to go there for some reason, then I have to figure out how to get there. Like, I have to create a bridge of some sort or something. And
I think that's part of the puzzle. I mean, I think, that's part of the design. They don't want to, necessarily tell you where to go. I understand what you mean, that it can be confusing, and I did feel that way.
It's like trying to figure out like what the answer to something you don't know what the question is like a weird feeling.
And comparing to like their other games, like The Last Guardian does this a lot too, where like it's even more of a problem because you have to rely on the AI to solve certain problems for you, and you don't know where to point it. So it gets to be annoying. So, I mean, I definitely felt that a bit, but I didn't think it was that much of a problem. Like, generally, I knew I had to figure out something in this area, and that was enough.
Yeah, true. Because there were a couple times that I had the same issue. Slow down, and then you're in a room, and you're like, I know I have to do something in this room. You're like, I just don't know exactly what to do. So you have to like just trial by error. There's a couple times where I was like, I know I have to climb up, but I don't know where to grab. I don't know where to climb. Or like the room with the chandelier that you have to pull down. I didn't see that ladder for whatever reason for forever, and I was like, I don't know how to get up there.
Yeah, there was one area, it was pretty early on, where you had to go into this under tunnel where there were 2 gates and 2 buttons inside. And you had to drop from the bottom and then open one of the buttons and let the girl in so she can press the other button.
Yep.
It was so fucking weird because the camera was actively working against you.
I hate the camera. I absolutely hate it.
In general, I mean, I don't think the camera is great. In general, I thought it worked mostly well. But in this one specific section, the camera is working against you because you have to, like, call her while you can't see her, and the camera can never see her from that perspective.
Yeah, she has to like drop down.
Yeah, she has to. Yeah, she has to climb up. You have to like grab her up from the, from the hole in the ceiling.
Like, because that was the area with like the blocks that you push around, right? Like the grassy area. Yeah, that was. Yeah, I had the same issue there.
So, I mean, the camera, it's, for the most part, I mean, it works fine, but like, I did notice this thing while playing also The Last Guardian, where they do this, like they're so fixated on creating a cinematic feel that they want to put the camera in a certain place, but it doesn't work well for the gameplay. It's sometimes.
Yeah. Also,
again,
like, go on.
I was just gonna say it's much worse than The Last Guardian than here.
Even the puzzle design is not as good as Last Guardian. The Last Guardian feels like it just took everything and polished it from this game.
I need to play Last Guardian.
Or not the Last Guardian, sorry, I'm thinking
You mean Shadow of the Colossus?
Shadow of the Colossus is much better.
Oh, yeah.
In terms of puzzles.
Yeah. Shadow of the Colossus is much better than both of them.
Yeah. Yeah, I just didn't like the camera because you can use it to, like, look around the room up to, like, 80% of the room. Because there's, like, depending on where you're positioned, for some reason, you can turn the camera, like, a full 180, but when you're in a certain, like, axis, I guess, I don't know, like, it won't let you see that last tiny bit of corner. And then when you scroll back to you, when you let go of the camera, it takes its fucking sweet-ass time to get back to you. It so slow.
Weird. It had, like, it was like a snapback, like, type of camera.
Yeah. Like, it was quick to snap, but it was fucking slow to actually get back to its original position.
It was attached to It was like attached to a certain vantage point. It wasn't like really you could control it completely. It wasn't attached to the character. It was attached to like somewhere on the wall.
Yeah,
right.
And you could just turn it really fucking slowly.
Yeah, so like you couldn't manipulate the camera and turn it at any angle. It was at one angle, and you could just like move the camera like around. It's hard to explain without actually like playing it. It's almost like it's on like these like 4 strings, and you can like move it, but if you let go, it'll snap back to the middle of those strings. You know, it's a weird camera. I'll say that. I mean, I generally didn't have too many issues with it.
There were a couple of spots where like it was hard to gauge where your jump was going to be.
Yes, I died because of that shit.
Yes.
And I was mad one of the times. I was really mad.
I was mad at the
like,
fucking part where you're climbing back up through like the water tunnel and the mechanical wheel, the water wheels and shit.
Yeah.
Like there was a point there where you had to move. There was this cart that had a chain hooked up to it that like went down a long way.
Yeah.
So you climbed up and you have to like move it forward or backward. At that point, I thought I was supposed to jump in the middle where the column was, where it looked like you could grab the ledges and climb around. So I was like, okay, I'll jump on the chain, swing, and jump there. He wouldn't grab those fucking ledges, so I died there like 3-4 times thinking I misinput and didn't grab it in time or something, when in fact you were supposed to go down and swing back to the wall where you were. It's like, what?
Speaking of swinging, you know how long it took me to figure out you could actually swing on the fucking chains?
Yeah, that's another...
Where you needed it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, wait a minute. Because I remember one of the times I was like, I kind of wish I could swing on this. And then, like, it's so weird. You have to, like, hold circle. I'm like, what?
And it starts automatically swinging. Yeah, it's, like, so fucking weird.
It was such a weird design. Because the game for you, mostly better, doesn't tell you anything, right? It doesn't tell you anything at all. Like, controls,
which I usually like that.
I mean, like I said, for almost everything in this game is for the better. Except for that situation, I was like, this is stupid. Because, like, you're inclined to just, like, rock the control stick.
Yeah, to, like, go back and forth, but all he does is go up and down. So you're like, okay, left and right, okay, he swivels, like, he turns himself around to, like, orientate himself where you want to jump. I'm like, okay. And then, like, triangles, jump, swords, squares, swing the sword, X does nothing, circle interacts with shit, so I'm like, okay, those are the controls. R1 calls the Yorda.
Yeah, I think the problem with this, with the swinging mechanic, is that they didn't establish it at all early on. Like, had they done that in, like, one of the earlier puzzles, then you would have,
you've been okay, yeah, but you learn that you can swing, or you have to swing in, like, mid-game, kind of.
It was like the last hour of the game.
Yeah.
Very, very strange.
Yeah, it's a very, very strange control mechanic to be able to swing from a rope. It's just like hold circle to start doing it. And I was like flabbergasted when I figured it out. It took me like fucking 10 minutes. I was like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, and also it's like, it's weird because you have to be still to activate it, because he has like long climbing animations. So if you were like pressing up and down while pressing circle, you could have missed it that he would start circle, because he won't actually start swinging until he's like standing still. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like you could have easily missed it even if you were just mashing buttons like I did.
You did mention though the animations, which are really fucking good.
Oh yeah, no, I love the animations where you're holding hands with Yorda and just yank her while you're running. She's just like almost falling
like almost
over.
Falls forward.
Yeah. It's really good animations for that. Yeah.
The one thing I like about that, about holding Yorda, is that they use the rumble feature there, and I thought that was like the best use of the rumble feature that I've seen in a long time. Because like they don't use it anywhere else. They don't use it for like bullshit where like things are rumbling around you or whatever the fuck that other games do.
Yeah.
It's only for when you're holding Yorda, and that makes that makes you feel more connected to her.
Yeah, definitely a lot more immersive that way.
I noticed that too. I was like, this is kind of cool. I mean, I think they really focused. One of their big focus in this game was like the, just the relationship between them, like getting to know each other through this like experience, and like they had no way of communicating really with each other. Like they both knew they just wanted to leave, but they didn't speak the same language. Like Yorda like couldn't talk. Or she could. I don't even remember. But she
talks.
She talked, but
a different language.
Tongue. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So there's like a language barrier there, but they, both understand each other. Where like we need to leave, and the whole holding hands thing, like kind of just it gets across this like feeling of bonding through the game. So you care more. You just care. You want to get her out. Like she's in a shitty situation.
That and like the save points, like it's just them sitting on the couch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I mean it creates that kind of intimacy.
I do like that you can't save unless she's sitting there with you.
Yeah.
I like that. Because there's one point where I came across a couch and I was like, I can't use this couch because I don't have Yorda with me. It's cool. And it's just both of them. It's like the combination of both of them just sitting there relaxing after like doing some ridiculous platforming, like death-defying platforming, in the music of just it's a nice it's just a nice image, just them relaxing together. And you have the parts where she barely makes a jump and you grab her and have to pull her up. Or just through the platforming in general, like helping her up platforms and stuff. There's a lot of little things in there that show them just getting through this together,
relying on each other.
Yeah. It's really it's good.
Yeah.
The only thing I don't like about Yorda is how slow she climbs a fucking ladder.
Yes. Yeah. And how she gets stuck on the corners and pillars and walls.
One time she just walked through a wall for me.
What? Did she go into another room?
No, she was just behind the wall, and then she came out, and I was like, okay, that's where you were.
That's funny. But yeah, there's a couple times where there's these obnoxiously long ladders, and I'm like,
yes.
Oh my god, I cannot believe how long she's gonna take. I get it. That's if I was going up or down a ladder that was that long and that scary. Yeah, I'd be going probably pretty slow. But it's a video game. Come on. Fucking go a little bit faster.
Like a whole minute. Those fucking ones that are right outside the corridors.
Yeah, the towers.
The towers.
Yeah, those long. Oh my god. So one time I was pissed. Okay, I go down the ladder and she's following me, and then I'm like, okay, so I call her, and then I'm standing there's a door right there, right, to go through next, but I'm waiting for her to come down the ladder. So as soon as she comes down, I call her over to me so I could grab her hand, and she starts climbing the fucking ladder again. And I was like, no. And so I was like, what do I do? I kept calling her, but she wasn't listening. She just was like, oh, no, I'm climbing this ladder again. So I went inside, came back out. She was all the way back at the top of the ladder. I had to call her down again.
Yeah. She would get weird sometimes around ladders. I wouldn't even be near them, but she would go up and then go back down. And I didn't understand why. But
I think it's just
AI is a little tricky there.
Yeah. I mean, it's a few generations ago. It's PlayStation 2. That might just be the AI programming. Being a little confused. Also, when you're holding her hand, it's just funny sometimes with how her arm will just flop all over the place.
Bend backwards, yeah.
You turn a corner real quick and her arm is just flailing. Which is just it's probably hard to program something like that
to keep it. Yeah, no.
Yeah,
it works.
I just thought it was humorous.
It was very funny.
Yeah. By the way, I meant to ask you. I know you played the PlayStation 2 version, right?
Mm-hmm.
I played the PlayStation 3 because they did a HD, kind of a remaster for it on the PS3. Ills, which one did you play?
PS2.
You played it on PS2 as well? Okay.
Ills, did you know there was a command to make her wait?
No.
Me neither. Apparently there was in the game.
I don't. Maybe it was only on the PS3 one, but you could you could tell her to wait as well. Just tell her to wait.
All my guy ever did was say au revoir, which is come here. So that was it. And yell really loud if she's too far away. That's it.
Yeah.
That's the only commands I had.
Au revoir, I thought was funny.
I really didn't need the wait command that often.
No, me neither. She kind of already knew that she was standing on a switch. She should stay there.
Yeah.
There was some cool stuff in the PS3 version that they added, like bonus material too. Like, you could go watch like a video of early like concept footage of the game, and also
that's
like
pretty cool.
Yeah, there was also some stuff shown for like the sequel that was going to be called Nico, because like Ni is 2 in Japan. So it was Nico. But they basically reworked that into Shadow of the Colossus. So,
which is a prequel.
Which is maybe, I guess.
I kind of saw it as a sequel because
I think it's a prequel.
You think it's a prequel as well?
It's a prequel. It's
officially known as... Okay.
Guys, it's a prequel.
I don't... Is it official? I mean, I would definitely say it was, based on what happens in Shadow of the Colossus, but...
Pretty sure it's official.
Because
like
there's a lot...
95% sure.
There's, like, similarities in the games. There's shadow creatures in both the games, I'll say that. And we'll talk a little bit near the end. I guess we'll probably put a spoiler, because I don't want to talk about, like, spoilers of both these games. Shadow of the Colossus and Eco. I don't want to talk about both of them, just spoil everything. Because there's things I want to talk about at the end of both of the games that go together to make them connect. But yeah, I mean, overall, I really enjoyed the puzzles in this game. I thought they were good. Like, there were a couple obscure sections where I was confused, but I felt good solving them and making my way through it. You know, it did a good job. Level design wise, I think it was really, really good. And because the level design was so good, it really did guide you and from one place to the next. Like you for the most part, you knew exactly what you had to do for when you go into a room. And I liked that. And then I felt good solving the puzzles. You know, none of them were too hard. None of them were too obtuse. And I do actually one small complaint, not about the puzzles, but about the combat. It's incredibly shallow.
I mean, I wouldn't even call it combat. Really.
Yeah.
Literally, all you do is press square to swing either your stick or your sword, which the sword is a godsend.
It takes fucking forever to get rid of the shadows with the stick.
Yeah. And then the shadow creatures pissed me off because it wasn't that they were hard to fight. It was that they kept dodging everything.
Like, at the end, yeah, they did.
Yeah, it was so annoying. They would always, like, jump backwards. You try to swing, they'd jump back. It got to the point where I used fucking Yorda as, like, bait. I would just be like, you know what? Go for her. And as soon as they went to grab her, that's when I'd hit them. It's like, fuck out of here with these guys. Every time I got into a combat section, I would just be kind of annoyed for the most part. I'd be like, okay, you know.
Yeah.
It's not fun.
Yeah. It wasn't fun. It was just...
If there were only, like, a couple of them that would come after her, then I'd be fine, but you get a couple the very first fight, and then later on they come in, like, swarms of 8 or 9. And it's...
Yeah, I was just like...
If you don't have the sword, you're gonna be there for a long time.
The fucking stick sucks.
I mean, at least at the end when you get the queen sword, you can kill them in one shot.
But you have to kill like 50 or 60 of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they keep still jumping backwards in this big ass room. And I'm like, oh, I can't even...
They have no interest in fighting you. They constantly...
They will not fight you!
Yeah.
Well, I mean, would you fight someone who kills you in one hit?
No.
I guess, but I'd probably also run.
Yeah.
Like, I literally stood there. I was like, okay, you know what? They keep dodging. Maybe if I stand here, they'll, like, come to, like, try to attack me, and then I'll hit them when they try. But they wouldn't. They would just keep, like, getting near me, and then jumping back, and getting near me, and jumping back. I was like, oh.
Some of them would just fly in a circle.
Yeah, just completely ignoring you.
That was annoying. That was probably the dumbest part of the game right there. And that was leading up to, from one
I
of my
liked it
favorite
because it
parts.
was, like, it had a connection to, like, the story, so...
Yeah, I liked it because you were... It seemed like you were setting free all the imprisoned other people. That were there.
True, they all came out of, like, crawled out of the all the like cages
the
or
pods.
Yeah, the pods, because it takes place in the room that you were supposed to be imprisoned in that you broke free.
Yeah, it felt good, like going back to that area. I was like, this is where it all started, and then it's like, Jesus.
Yeah, it's always nice when the game does that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, do you guys want to...
super powerful.
You are, yes, because you get the Queen's sword. What were you going to say, Noah?
I just wanted to talk about the last boss fight.
Yeah, do you want to do a spoiler?
Yeah.
Okay, so spoilers starting right here. We're going to talk spoilers about Eco and Shadow of the Colossus, because I want to talk about the end of both of the games. Yeah. So, if you want to skip ahead, I'll put the spoilers in the description below, the timestamp. So, all right, say what you want.
So I really like the last boss fight. It's like essentially a puzzle fight. It's not like the fights that you do with the other shadow creatures where you have to go wildly swinging at them constantly. It's like you have to figure out.
If that was the last boss, that'd be stupid.
Yeah, that'd be fucking dumb. But I really liked because you have to basically the queen is there on her throne and she's throwing out this wave every couple of seconds, where if you get hit by it, you turn to stone, and so you have to avoid it. The sword protects you from that wave. And you have to figure out how to get near her to try and shatter the barrier that's protecting her with the sword. Yeah. But every time you do that, you kind of lose your sword and it goes flying. So you have to quickly recover your sword while avoiding her, like, wave.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you have to move the statues around.
Yeah, to block the wave. So you, like, have to cover from it and then time it. So you go get your sword and try to get her again.
Yeah, good last boss battle. I liked it.
It's a really good looking part. And I wasn't, like, too impressed with the fight itself. I mean, it was pretty simple, like maybe 5 hits I think it took, but I did like the way the effects looked every time the waves hit the sword or the statues.
Yeah, that was really cool. You felt pretty badass too with the sword, once you get the sword and you're killing everything in one hit, and like you get to her and you're like using it to block her her shadow move. You're like, man, I'm fucking cool with this thing, I like the end section too a lot. Sorry, Yorda, but I really like it a lot because it's just a lot of platforming, and I had fun getting through it.
After you fall.
Yeah.
I did like that part a lot too.
I tried to cheat the game. So that part where they open the door, the main gate, and like you have to walk across the bridge.
Yeah.
During the cutscene, it shows you like as you're running with her, you're holding her hand. That's when like the shock happens and she falls over and you fall over because you were holding her hand or like that close to her. So I tried to cheese it and like brought her, like kept calling her instead of holding her hand. I just kept calling her, walked all over to the point like while keeping my distance so I don't fall, so I could immediately go grab her like when the bridge starts breaking instead of like having to climb up myself because I fell over, and then
did they actually
no, they actually thought of that too because I was past the point where the bridge splits, but she stopped and she would be like wobbling as in like she was about to lose her footing, so like I couldn't get her to follow me any further than that point, so I was like, damn it.
She kept falling over at that point too. If you like try to hold her hand, she kept like collapsing.
Yeah.
That, I liked that. I liked the whole end sequence. I liked not having to worry about Yorda for a little while and just being able to just do, like, pure platforming.
But that was that point where I had to do the actual water wheel segment was cool. I liked it. But then the part after that where it's just like, you have to go up the tower and, like, go along the walls. It's like, I hated that part because I died 3 times. I had to do a whole fucking thing over again.
But yeah, I mean, at the end of the game, you kill the queen, and you lose your horns.
Yeah, which is why I thought with the ending of Shadow Colossus, because in that fight you lose both your horns, and I thought because in Shadow of the Colossus you play as an adult kid, or I guess I just adult, not adult kid, and at the end of the Shadow of the Colossus, you actually see a baby being born with horns. So I thought it was just him all along, because he became a shadow when you fought, like at the end of the game, when you fought the Colossi. After you fought all the Colossi and you revived her, he became a shadow to protect her from the other guys. And but then you die and you get reincarnated as a kid with horns. So I just thought it was him again, just reborn.
No, I think it's
That's the start of the curse.
That's the start of the curse.
That's the start of the curse? Okay.
Yeah. And basically...
So is the girl Yorda, or is it the queen?
I've heard the queen...
Mono.
I've heard that the queen is possibly the girl from Shadow of the Colossus. That's... I don't think is confirmed, but that's a theory that people have.
Okay.
That she... Because she gets revived, like, by... I don't remember its name, but the basically the bad guy from Shadow of the Colossus, the evil... She gets revived by it, but she also, like, part of it is she lives for, like, thousands of years. And, like, she is the queen now in Eco. Again, this is all fan speculation. None of this is confirmed, but I think it's...
If it was her, then the child wasn't Eco, because... The baby wasn't Eco, because he would have been a lot older.
The baby's not Eco, but it's the start of the curse, where every once in a while somebody is born with horns.
Okay.
And
the main character of Shadow of the Colossus is Wander, not Eco.
So. Okay.
Yeah, the Wanderer. Is it the Wanderer? They just call him Wanderer, right?
They just call him Wander.
Wander? Okay. But yeah. So Shadow of Colossus really is more of a prequel.
Okay. So I interpreted that wrong.
Because it sets up the curse that is the people being born with horns.
Okay. Yeah, because the Shadows in Shadow of the Colossus didn't have horns, where in this game they did, so...
Yeah.
Makes sense now.
So yeah, I think that's cool though that they
made that connection.
There's correlations. Yeah, that there's a connection between the two games. That's really cool. I like that a lot.
Yeah, because I was confused as fuck because I played Shadow of the Colossus first, and I was like, oh, okay, this is weird, a weird ending, but now it all makes sense.
You played it in the right order, I guess.
Yeah, technically, yeah.
Technically, you should. But yeah, when I played Shadow of the Colossus. Even though I have the Eco and Shadow of the Colossus collection on PS3, I played the Shadow of the Colossus like remake on the PS4 instead of the PS3 version. So yeah, that's it. Let's do final impressions on Eco and
one last thing.
Go ahead.
In the non-US versions of this game, after you beat the game, if you play New Game Plus, Yorda is speaking English now. Like. Her words are translated into English. She's not speaking it, but like her subtitles are.
Does she say anything like important?
I have no fucking idea. But it's just weird that the U.S. copy didn't get that.
That is in the.
It adds
HD
to the
remaster.
mystery. Yeah.
That is in the HD remaster, by the way.
In the original release, then.
Okay. So even in North America, that's in the HD version. Because I was like, when you just said that. Oh, I guess one other thing. Speaking of differences between versions, the box art for the North American version, in a rare situation, is fucking dog shit. Is
that rare?
Well, usually it's the European box art that gets like what the fuck were they thinking when they made it? But the European one kept the Japanese version, which is very nice, like very nice artwork, like watercolor. It looks really cool. But then the North American version uses this fucking like CG. Just bad early CG images, and it just looks like crap. It just doesn't look good, and it's considered to be a contribution of why the game sold like crap in North America. Well, there's that, and they also didn't advertise it worth anything. I don't even know if they advertised it like at all. Where as opposed to Shadow of the Colossus, where they're like, yeah, let's advertise the fuck out of this game. They just really didn't care too much. So this game sold very poorly. Critically, did amazing. Critics loved it, and it sold real bad, especially in North America. So yeah, 270,000 copies in North America, which is not great for a first-party release. But at least now it has the legacy. It got, the remaster on PS3, and it's now a lot more. There's a lot more eyes on it, and people know about it as opposed to back then. So it's good. At least it got what it deserved. But anyway, yeah. Let's do recommendations. I'll start with you.
Yeah, I would say so. It's a good-looking game. especially for the PS2.
Mm-hmm.
Climbing mechanics work really well, and the world design is pretty awesome. I do like how seamlessly they move you along from place to place, and the relationship between Aiko and Yorda is quite nice. And I do like the ending; it's pretty satisfying. We didn't talk about after the credit scene, but yeah.
True. But yeah, nice it's a satisfying ending.
Yeah.
Right. Noah?
Yeah, for sure. It's it feels very unique as a game. It's one of in general the three titles from Ico, Shadow Colossus, and I don't know about The Last Guardian, but they feel very like I guess special and like unique compared to like other games in general. Not genre specific or anything, but it's like they have pretty much. They're just their own thing. It's like hard to replicate that kind of experience that you have with those games. So it's definitely worth experiencing.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'll say the same. I mean, yeah, I would definitely recommend it for anybody who hasn't played this game. It combines a lot of, it combines everything that you want in a video game almost in a way, where it just combines good visuals, good sound, music. It's a simple but very effective story, and fun gameplay. So it just combines a lot of good things and combines into a good package that I think is it's very unique as well. It's not a game that is your typical version of anything. It does stand on its own and kind of, and like I said earlier, inspired a lot of other games. So while the games that inspired some of them did things better, this game is still extremely solid and holds up well, and I'd say it's worth checking out 100%. And with that being said, it's time to take Eco and put it on the list.
The list.
So you can follow along with the list in the paste bin link in the description below, where every episode of the Jump Up Supercast Game Club, we take the game that we played and we add it to this list. So it's an ever-growing list, games ranked from best to worst, and we are burdened with the responsibility of adding it to this list every time we play a game. So looking at the list in its entirety right now, Ills, do you have any suggestions to start us off with on where you think it should go?
Gets harder and harder every time.
I think I would put it like around where Silent Hill 2 is.
Like 100?
99
is 99?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was looking at that area too.
I would put it above Silent Hill 2.
I think, yeah. I'd put it above. I'd be also okay with putting it above Amnesia.
Noah?
I can go higher.
Where do you want it?
Maybe below Banjo?
Pretty high. Yeah. I don't know if I'd put it above, like, even Ghost Trick.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. That's from all those games.
Well, Ghost Trick
is the only one that I don't.
And yeah, even SteamWorld Dig, I don't know if I'd put it above any of those.
Well, I'm fine with above Amnesia. If you want to go, I haven't played Life is Strange, so I don't know. Whatever. No opinion there.
You want to like bring it down to Ghost Trick? On the Ghost Trick?
I'm cool with that.
I'm cool with that too. I mean, Ills, would you think it's better or worse than Fallout? I mean, I think you probably think it's worse if you wanted it below it, but
I can go either way. Yeah, I'd put it above Fallout. That's fine.
Okay, I'm okay with that then. Right underneath Ghost Trick, but above Fallout.
Sounds good.
Next to my other game.
All right, so that is gonna put Eco. That was a quick one. At number 96 on the list. And surrounding it, we have number 94, Telltale's The Walking Dead Season 1. 95, Ghost Trick Phantom Detective. Number 96 is now Eco. Number 97 is Fallout, a post-nuclear role-playing game. Number 98 is Life is Strange. And that is going to do it for the list. But before we go, we got a couple of things we got to run through real quick. I just want to say that if you did enjoy listening to the Game Club, make sure you check us out on whatever podcast listening service you want to listen to us on. That's including SoundCloud, iTunes, and YouTube, where new episodes of the Game Club go up every other Thursday, as well as the Jump Up Supercast. Our normal episodes go up every Monday, where we talk about news and games. We also rank games, put a game on the list every episode as well. So listen to that as well. And if you want to give us a follow, we would appreciate that very much. You can also like the podcast or even share it with your friends, family. And feel free to let us know what you think about Eco down in the comments below. If you played it, or are you interested in playing it now that you've heard us talk about it, just let us know. And support the podcast. And there's many ways you could do that. But one of them is Patreon, where Patreon, if you search up Jump Up Supercast, we have a Patreon where for $1 a month, you can get a chance to choose one of our Game Club games. And we're going to get into that in just a minute here, because we recently did a raffle for our Patreon supporters, where they all choose a game they want us to play, and then we do a raffle and choose one of those games. So if you have a game you really want us to play, you get a chance to do that. $1 a month. Once around, we do that. And you also can join our Discord server, and you also can listen to the episodes recording live. So if you want to, it helps out the podcast a lot. You can also give us a follow on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Stay up to date on everything we do when the episodes go up and all of that. And we have Twitch, twitch.tv/JumpUpSupercast, where we play video games, of course. And you can hang out and talk to us and play games. So it's a lot of fun, a lot of ways to interact. We appreciate every single one of you guys for listening so much. But before we go, we got the next game that we're playing. Like I said, it was a raffle for Patreon. We did it last night, and the next game we're playing is going to be Omori. So that is a game that I'm pretty interested in checking out. Don't know a lot about it. I know it's an RPG. And I know it's a very recent game, so it's not. I think it just came out maybe last year. So yeah, we're gonna talk about that game in 2 weeks. Omori, look forward to it. Thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you, Ilz and Noah, for playing games with me. And I want everybody to go out there, play their favorite game, and be nice to each other.